I quit my comfortable six-figure job in corporate to start over. What's the grand plan? Well, I started by selling everything I owned in New Zealand and moving to Thailand. So how did we get here? Let's start in 2021. I was working from home for a large corporate, a bank. Words cannot explain how much I hated my job. I felt lost, depressed, and I was self-sabotaging, smoking weed every day. Thanks to COVID, I was able to work from home and hide from people. I'd be masking my reality with fake dopamine and substance abuse. During work hours, I remember having one screen dedicated to work and the other literally doing anything but work, watching sports, playing League of Legends, that sort of thing. And during this time, I was a very fear-driven individual. Growing up, we didn't have a lot of money. My parents were quite old school and traditional and really instilled into us that the key to happiness was to become a doctor or a lawyer. I was basically forced into studying law at university, and to this day, I'm not sure how I managed to graduate. I was too worried at the thought of what my parents, my friends, and society would think of me if I decided to drop out and pursue something else. I didn't even attend graduation. The degree meant absolutely nothing at all to me. Post-graduation, I had no idea what I wanted to do, but it definitely wasn't law. But I did want to work, make money, so what I did was apply for entry-level positions at various different banks in New Zealand. I eventually got an offer as a personal banker in a call center for a whopping $42,000 a year, which is about 24,000 US. I remember feeling like I made it. I was going to climb the corporate ladder, work my way up, get rich, and eventually be financially free. And I truly believed with all my heart that my life problems would disappear after I hit a six-figure salary. I'm not sure what it was, but six figures seemed to be that mark, that milestone that society, my parents, my peers seemed to value a lot, so I made it my mission to reach that. So I tried really hard in my first couple of months. I made sure to exceed all the work targets, make connections, attend all the work lunches and events. So each year I'd get promoted, my salary would increase a little, and I'd be climbing the corporate ladder one rung at a time. But I found myself getting burnt out really quickly. My soul felt so unfulfilled. Every day I'd be looking at the laptop screen, pretty much wishing I was anywhere but there. I don't know about you guys, but I would have an impending sense of doom every time I'd drive into the office. I'd count down the weekends. And during lunch breaks, I remember feeling so drained and exhausted, I'd literally go to my car and take naps. And yeah, the years went on. One turned into two turned into three, but I had a goal in mind, a six-figure salary, and then life's problems would disappear, right? Now, during all of this, I had a lot of personal issues that I was dealing with as well. I was suppressing a lot of my childhood trauma. I was engaging in self-sabotaging behaviors, easily falling into addiction, which was negatively impacting me, my social life, my physical health, as well as my long-term girlfriend at the time. And every day I remember just feeling like I was existing. I just had so much brain fog on the day-to-day. And all of these thoughts and behaviors manifested itself into panic attacks and suicidal thoughts. So I knew something had to be done. And yeah, so I started getting into self-development very heavily. I got into a lot of self-help books and podcasts and forced myself to train for some extreme challenges. I ended up training for my first marathon, I signed up for my first kickboxing fight, and I also started going to therapy and getting into meditation. After a lot of conversations with other people, myself, and a lot of self-reflection, I realized I feared failure immensely, and I was always seeking validation from my parents, from society, that I was a person of value in the world. And I realized I really feared failure because I grew up in a very unforgiving environment. Failure wasn't accepted or much of an option in my household or in my community that I grew up. And basically that's how I discovered the reasons for my depression and my lack of purpose. I was living a life inauthentic to myself and just trying to be a good Asian son, trying to please everyone but myself. After realizing this, things started to change. The addictions that I had at the time didn't hold so much power over me. I pretty much quit smoking cigarettes and weed overnight. I started taking fitness a lot more seriously, which gave me a lot more energy and power throughout the day. And I remember thinking, if I could change my personal life this drastically, I could do the same for my work life too. I started becoming absolutely obsessed with learning. I spent a lot of time picking up new skills that felt more in alignment with who I was, and skills that I could eventually get paid for. The first skill I took seriously was DJing. I ended up playing at a few clubs over the weekend, even at a wedding, which I got paid for. But I did find the people in nightlife scenes typically quite chaotic and unreliable, so I decided to stop. Then I got into photography quite casually. I picked up my first camera, the Sony a7 III, which I'm still shooting with today, and eventually video production and editing. I was helping a lot of friends and local businesses for free until I got good enough to get paid. Picking up these new skills in this time of my life was a pivotal point. I realized I could get paid outside of my 9 to 5. People actually valued me and my work, and self-confidence started to grow. During this time period, I was still working my 9 to 5. I was mainly working from home in non-customer facing positions, and I would spend every minute when I wasn't attending to calls or meetings, cultivating these new skills. After 7 or 8 years in corporate, I worked my way up in various positions and finally got an offer for a 6-figure salary as a risk manager for another company. And of course, I jumped at the chance. And after that initial dopamine rush of me signing the contract, receiving my first monthly payment into my bank account, I realized I couldn't last. It was the same shit at a different company. Small talk, pointless meetings, everyone counting down the weekend, and it took me 8 years to realize this. After 3 months of that, I quit. I just really had to ask myself, is this what I want out of life? I acknowledge that this is a first world problem and I was in a position of privilege. I'm also not shaming office work by any means. I just think people are wired differently and have different needs and wants at various different stages of their life. But I just knew for myself personally, I couldn't be Sally from accounts, tapping away on her laptop for another 30 years. Unfortunately, it took me a long time, most of my 20s, to come to these realizations. But I'm grateful for the journey. I wouldn't change a thing, and I believe everything happens for a reason. I used to think money and a 6-figure salary would fix everything. But what I really wanted was freedom. Freedom to build cool shit with cool people and live life on my own terms. But freedom does come with a price tag. It costs comfort, security, all these things that my old corporate life gave me. And every day you have to fight through all the uncertainties and self-doubt and keep betting on yourself because no one else is going to do it for you. Yeah, it's been 2.5 years since I quit my corporate job, and truth is, I'm still figuring things out. I'm constantly redefining who I am, and I'm building and documenting this journey in public because I'm not going to let fear hold me back anymore. I'm actively building a video agency, and I've also signed up for a Muay Thai fight at the end of the month in Thailand. If you want to follow this journey, make sure to subscribe and follow me on Instagram. This is just the beginning for me, and who knows, maybe for you too.